Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to all my regular viewers, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. So today's video is all about French. I'm stripping it right back and just doing a classic French. As usual, all the colours I'm using are from Glitterbels, and I'm only using two, which are Nude Blush Cover and Snowdrops White. These are both core powders, so I don't need to cap them. So when I'm doing a French, I normally do, it's kind of like the reverse smile line method. So we're kind of doing an extended nail bed with the Nude Blush Cover. So I've kept this part of the video just in real time, just so you can see how I create my small extended nail beds. I find sometimes, oh my goodness, that's just tractors going past, sorry. So I find sometimes when you're doing French, if the white is way too thick, it just kind of looks really unnatural. So doing it this method, you can kind of camouflage the natural nail bed, and in that way you can extend it out and have a smaller French, a smaller white. And as both of these powders that I'm using today from Glitterbels are both core powders, so I'll not be capping them in glass slippers. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to build my apex when I'm laying down the Nude Blush Cover. Sometimes when you're working with some of the cover powders, especially the Cashmere Cover, which is a beautiful nude, but I do find as well sometimes with the Nude Blush Cover, it actually starts to cure quite quickly. So it's probably best that we kind of work in smaller beads and slightly wetter beads. It just means you're going to have more time to play with it. So I did that in 3 separate beads. I did the smile line bead, I did that first, and then I went in and did a small apex bead, and then I went in and I did quite a large cuticle bead, and I brushed that down towards that apex just to build it up. Oh my goodness, the time I start to do my voiceover, the farmers are all out in their tractors and that's all I'm hearing. So on to the ring finger, and again I have this in real time just to let you see how I create the reverse smile line. So you want to try and do as much as you can with your brush. It'll cut down the filing time once it's cured. So you don't want the smile line to be too thick, but you do want to give it enough that you can file it into shape without losing any of the strength of the nail. So usually the thickness would be the thickness of maybe a pound coin. No thicker than that, because that is going to give you the room then to just completely file and shape your nail. So again on the ring finger you can see that I did the 3 bead placements. So I did my smile line first and made sure I got most of the shape done with my brush, and then I've went in and I've done my apex bead followed by my cuticle bead. Onto the middle finger now, and I have put the speed up to double speed just to keep the length of the video down for you guys, but everything is done the same. I'm getting in with the Nude Blush Cover and doing my smile line first, and then I'll go in and do my cuticle, or sorry, my apex, and then my cuticle bead. So I'll just let you swatch these 2 fingers being the acrylic being laid on them, and then I'll come back whenever we go to put the white. That is my dog walking across my wood floors, if you're wondering what that noise is. Hi Ralph. So now that all the acrylic has cured, I'm going to go ahead with my hand file and I'm just going to shape up those smile lines, just making sure that they're really crisp. So to do this, I hold my file vertically and I kind of lay it flat against the acrylic so that the wall that I'm creating is nice and flat. That way when I put my Snowdrops White up against it, I'll get a really crisp finish. So all the smile lines are done exactly the same way, so I'm just going to let you go ahead and watch and see how I shape them before I lay down my Snowdrops White. So just a quick brush off just to remove any of the dust before I lay down my Snowdrops White. And you can see I literally only filed the smile lines. I didn't file over the rest of the nails. When I'm doing my French this way, I literally just whack it on. I mean, I put it on so messy because I know that once I go in with my e-file, it's going to give me this really crisp smile line. So you can see, look, I'm just whacking it on there. So because I've used Glitterbels square matte finish tips, there's quite a high C curve in them. So I need to make sure that I've spread the Snowdrops White right to the edge of each tip, and to make sure that when you look down the barrel of your nail that it's nice and even. So moving on to the ring finger, I thought that I would go ahead and start this one off kind of semi-neat, just to let you see just what shape the smile line actually is. So I've butted the Snowdrops White right up to that smile line, but because I'm not going to be capping it in clear, I need to build the Snowdrops White up just so that it's the same level as the smile line. So now I've just whacked it on as I did on the first nail. But you can see it is slightly neater doing it the other way. But I just love the way when you just whack it on, fire it on, and then you get this beautiful crisp smile line once you go in with your e-file. It's so satisfying. And just get in with a little bit more of the Snowdrops White, just right up to the corners of that smile line, just to make sure that it's completely covered with the Snowdrops White. So when I go in with my e-file, it's not going to leave any gaps. So onto the middle finger now, and I didn't go in quite as neat as I did the ring finger, but it really doesn't matter when you're doing the reverse smile line, because once you go in and file it, it just comes to life. You get this really nice smile line. And again on this nail, I'm just going in with a little bit more of the Snowdrops White right in the corners of the smile line. So finishing off on the index finger, and I've just went in the same way with the Snowdrops White, and then I'm going to let them all cure and I'll come back and e-file it all off. Now that it's all cured, I'm going to go in with my e-file and one of the 5-in-1 drill bits. So I absolutely love these drill bits. They are so, I'm actually using the fine one, which it's perfect for doing this. You can just see that smile line just starting to come through. It's really, really crisp. And because it's one of the fine 5-in-1s, I don't need to change it. I can go ahead and do the cuticle area. I can do making sure the sidewalls are straight. I can do a lot with the 5-in-1 e-file bit. But I will go in with my hand file and I will just finish off. I think I'm just a creature of habit, and I always love to finish off with my hand file. This is just as satisfying just watching it, you know, while I'm editing this and doing the voiceover as it is when I was actually doing it. I absolutely love it whenever you do a French this way. It just, oh, it's so satisfying. Now that I've finished revealing all the smile lines with my e-file, I'm going to go in with my hand file and I'm just going to finish off the filing and shaping of the nails. I'm only going to show one of the nail being done because, as you know, I never like to keep the length of the video down, and they're all done exactly the same way. I have gone back in with my e-file on this bit because when I was doing the buffing, I noticed that there was like two pits in the nails, like two dips in the nails, and the nail dust was actually getting caught in them. So that's how I knew that my nail wasn't level. So I've just went back in, leveled it off, and I'm just going to finish it off now with the buffer. So now that I've finished all the buffing in, I'm giving it a quick cleanse over with some alcohol, and then I'll apply the top coat. I'm not going to leave the nails like this. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to do some 3D flowers on the index finger and the little finger, and I will also be adding some rhinestones. So here's the set just before I start to do any of the rhinestones. You can see the thickness of the nails and the C curves. So they're not too thick. They're probably about maybe a credit card size thickness when you look at them, you know, close up. And just for a change, I'm going in to do some 3D flowers, but I'm doing them close to the free edge of the nail rather than up around the cuticle area, because I am going to use the rest of the nail to do a little design and to add some rhinestones. So the laying out of this 3D flower is a bit different than I've done on my other videos. I've just laid the petals down in a different way, and then instead of using my dotting tool, I'm going to create a line of dots using the acrylic from the flowers right up towards the cuticle area. Always, whenever I'm doing my 3D flowers, I always pick up the bead quite wet, and then I drain out all the liquid from my brush before I place the bead onto the nail. That way it's nice and glossy and it will stick to the nails rather than putting a dry bead on, because when you do it that way, it tends to slide all over the nail until the bead actually gets liquid into it, and then you can start to shape it. So it's just easier doing it this way. So this is me placing the acrylic as in the dots that you would do with your dotting tool. The first part of, on one side of the nail was so much easier than the other side. In fact, the side that I'm doing now, oh my goodness, it just kept being too wet or too big, but I eventually got there in the end. You know, I always like to keep any mistakes that I've made in the video, because I think it's great just to let any new techs out there know that even us technicians that have been doing it for a long time, we still make mistakes. We're not perfect. So I hope nobody minds the fact that I do leave the mistakes in. I just think it's a great way to show how you would correct things. You know, 9 times out of 10, I just take it off and start again. So yeah, we're not perfect. So I've decided to go in with some of the wifey, which is a red from Glitterbels, just to give it a kind of colour wash. So I've just placed a really wet bead, and then I've went in with just monomer to kind of just spread the colour everywhere. It gives it kind of like a blush sort of effect. And just now to finish the nails off, I'm going to go in with some rhinestones. I am sticking them on with gripper glue from CJP. I find it dries quicker than the Glitterbels one, so I prefer to use it when I'm doing rhinestones. Although I normally do, actually, if I'm using one of my training hands, I actually would put the rhinestones into the top coat and then cure them. But because I was doing 3D flowers and that on some of the nails, I decided to just do it with the gripper glue. And as usual, just to keep the length of the video down, I'm not going to show me placing all the rhinestones because they are quite time consuming and can be a bit boring to watch. And here's the finished set, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's a bit more realistic as to what a client would have, you know, in the salon, because not all of us wear the super long nails. But if you've liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, you could go ahead and do that now. And I will see you all in the next video. So take care, see you soon, bye.